Good morning, Justin. How are you today?
I'm doing fantastic. It's great to be talking to you from the same time zone for the first time in a very long time, and back in beautiful Northwest Florida, home sweet home. And of course, I had to give the proper background here in the Destin, Florida area. So it's good to be home, and it's really funny when you're in the Middle East for so long, and you come back here to Florida, where it's typically known to be very hot and humid during this time of year here in August, and it feels very comfortable for me. I think that means I have a problem based on living in the Middle East, where 92 plus degrees Fahrenheit with humidity feels nice. Not good.
Yep, that you're in the best place in the world at the moment. So enjoy your time here.
That's right. It's great to be home.
Yeah. Look, thank you, Justin. I know you're traveling, you're always busy, and even after that, and we already posted 24 podcasts and three or four more in pipeline. And today we are probably 30th of the podcast. We did over not even 2 years.
Time flies when you're having fun, I guess, as they say, right?
Time flies. Exactly. So thank you for this today's time. And I know you just landed and jet lag and everything, but you're still here. You're committed. Thank you for that, for your contribution.
Yeah, not a problem. Always a pleasure.
So today's topic is very interesting, accelerating digital transformation. So everybody's talking about digital transformation, and every company wanted to grow themselves, put themselves into the digital roadmap, on the roadmap, and do better. What do you think?
Yeah, this is a very interesting topic with literally the disruption happening, quite frankly, across all industries and our lives and the personal and professional side. And so, given the depth of the effect that it's having on all of us in every facet of life, I know just in our 1 hour, we'll probably be barely scratching the surface, but it's something that will continue to be talked about extensively, and even in the different sections of industry and personal lives that we could just literally go on for hours on it.
Exactly. Exactly. Let me start with the questions I want to ask today. So how do we bring true strategic foresight thinkers back to the current digitally disrupted world?
I really thought about this question a lot, especially when it comes in the frame of our project program and portfolio management framework, as I would say. And, really, how do we bring those people to the forefront? And, what I've been kind of seeing throughout the industry, at least overseas, is a lot of project managers, project program, the three Ps, I should say, project program and portfolio. What you're seeing now is those individuals that are in those positions really have a specific technical expertise, is what I'm seeing. So almost like a bit of a hybrid, or someone that has started off in an industry where they've really learned the ins and outs from the technical side of things, and as they've kind of come through the ranks, they've just grown into a leadership role on the project management side of things. And so, when we're really looking at things, and a lot of times folks just fall into the project management world as an accident anyway. And I think being able to grasp that and being able to almost have that technical project management side of things really emphasize that, while also bringing in the business and analytical side of things and the risk management. I think, one of the things that I learned, especially in my MBA experience that I just completed, was I really gained a lot of technical and analytical skills that I found out that I was lacking in my current endeavors. And so one of those, so really finding those opportunities to gain the skills to become more analytical, to be able to then have that foresight to predict some different avenues of how your project is going to unfold. And then not only that, having those soft skills and being able to shape the opportunities and those projects in the way that you want to be able to have it move forward. I think being able to control your own destiny as much as possible and control the things that you can control while also looking in a forward way, I think are really going to be the keys to success in the project management world as we move forward. And, for me, in my experience, again, you don't just become a project manager. You kind of start in the, at the ground floor and getting your hands dirty and understanding some part of the life cycle of a project. And then you just kind of mature into those natural roles while also along the way having those technical and analytical skills that kind of build your framework and your mindset to become a successful project manager. So kind of just bringing all of that together, I think is really going to help shape the profession as we move forward overall.
Yeah, so it's not just typical project management now. We're talking about a thinker or somebody who can align the projects and foresight of the project to the organization strategies. So that's what we're looking, and especially in the digital transformation world. Yeah, so that's very much required, not just to do the scheduling and controlling. No, you have to think, what is coming, like using some AI-based tools or some other ways we can get some alerts and get some we having a phone with system which you can give you always all the required information on your hands, and utilizing your knowledge, skills, and stakeholder engagement, and build your bringing the strategic thinking can definitely bring a lot of disruption, or not disruption but the transformation for the organization.
You're exactly right, and we've said it throughout the series of podcasts, and I know I'll say it many times today, and you just said it, was stakeholder engagement. It always comes down to have that ability to build the relationships, which then will allow you to be able to shape the projects and accomplish the things that you need to be successful.
All right. So in what innovative ways can project management community evolve to foster a culture of result-driven transformation?
Yeah, I think we just covered a lot of the big things, and the analytical skills and being able to be able to understand all that data that is coming at you all the time. Yeah. I think that's something in our community that we can be better at. It's something that even we have become better, but that's something that there's so much coming at us all the time that this is one of those just continuous improvements that you just have to embrace and find new ways all the time. It's just one of those things that you just have to, it's a way of life now, because things are just happening so fast that we have to be, as a community, be able to evolve with that. But again, being able to have those analytical skills, embracing the new technologies and finding ways to use it. But at the same point, it's only, those tools are only as good as the data that's put in them. So if you're putting garbage in, you're going to get garbage out. And so data effectiveness and data integrity are so important. Otherwise, they're worthless tools. So again, I think from a community to foster that culture, again, that's one of the big things. And again, teaching our folks, we're so used to now, I kind of get a little old school. We have all these tools and it's always electronic devices and everything else. But one thing that gets lost in the mix is the ability to have true personal interaction skills just in a verbal setting or physically being able to read people and have the personal skills to build those stakeholder relationships. Again, is something that it sounds small and simple, but it's very powerful and that we cannot forget.
Yeah, no doubt at all. We are repeating this again and again. The stakeholder engagement is the key of success of any projects, any programs. Because you may have done the work, but if the stakeholders are not engaged or they are not involved, they may say, "So what? We don't like it." They don't know what was happening, and right. Good or bad, they may find some issue. But if the stakeholders involved, they know what is happening in the project. even though results are not as expected, but still, you still feel that they're okay with that. So yeah, so the stakeholder engagement is one thing. Yeah, so we're looking for result-driven transformation. With the innovation we're talking, and you talked about with the new technology or artificial intelligence can definitely help us to create a culture of result-driven transformation.
Yep.
So how can organizations harness the power of co-opetition? It's, I think, combination of collaboration and competition to turbocharge their digital transformation efforts and reap mutual rewards with their competitors.
Yeah, I think it's co-opetition where for folks listening and watching, basically taking your competitors and combining forces to be able to really accelerate things. And again, we've talked about the Middle East extensively, and I think this is one of the regions that has really found a way to bring competitors together to really get after it. And with these giga projects where, quite frankly, when you think about the size and scale of things, one company just cannot do all of it. And I think some of the fascinating things, and my company Parsons is involved in it at the highest of levels, where really we've combined forces where you have delivery partners with two of our greatest competitors that we've joined forces to be able to deliver on a massive scale. And I think that the Middle East has probably done it the best, and not only on the huge design and delivery, but you'll even see it in Saudi Arabia and the greater Middle East, where from a military standpoint, it used to rely solely on Western military, foreign military sales type things, where everything is manufactured in other countries and then brought to, for example, Saudi Arabia, where now you see those aircraft manufacturers building local partnerships within Saudi Arabia, for example, or Qatar or the UAE, specifically, and the other GCC countries, where they're making things locally. So you take the greatest strengths of a company and then be able to manufacture it locally, so where you have a robustness and supply chain complexities of that. Being able to build it locally helps with the knowledge base and skill sets of your local citizens, but you can also be able to take and harness the quite frankly, some of the only shops in the industries with manufacturing aircraft. So I think you see that a lot in the Middle East, and I think it is spreading. I start to see it a lot here in the United States as well. They're probably not as ahead, I would say, but I think it's catching up quickly because they're seeing the success of these massive joint ventures and teammates where, we actually, as a company, while we have huge competitors, specifically in certain spaces in our industries where we're competitors, but they're some of our greatest partners in some of the massive ones. So massive projects. So I think that it is happening. I think that it's really a new phenomenon, quite frankly, that I've seen in the last 5 years, that beforehand, we would just go to our separate corners and try and beat each other, to now where you see this cooperation, because there's just so much opportunity within that. It's great. It's better to become a joint venture to be able to reap all the successes and find ways to where we can improve each other. And I always say competition, accelerates greatness on both sides. So nothing wrong with a little competition. Yeah,
I think that's a great idea. If you can, instead of competing with each other, which brings the price down, or quality, yes, consumers are benefiting, but maybe you can collaborate and find the best out of both, and you take the benefit and we take some benefit, and we grow together instead of bringing each other down. And we're still competing with each other, but also we are also giving benefit to the consumer and to each other.
Yep. Competition brings out the best in all of us, and at the end of the day, the customers are the ones that are going to benefit the most.
Exactly. So how can project managers navigate the complexities of aligning planning with execution to ensure successful outcomes in digital transformation initiatives, considering the rapid pace of technological advancements and changing market conditions?
Yeah, I thought about this one a lot, and we could go down a lot of paths with this one. But I think, quite frankly, one of the biggest things is keep it simple to an extent as well. Sometimes companies get so wrapped up in processes, and they'll put this tiger team together internally to really try and define a process, which is important. But the problem is, especially with the bigger companies, they become not agile enough. And what ends up happening is it becomes an organization where it can't make the decisions fast enough and be able to, at the end, keep the customer in mind and deliver for them. And so from a project management standpoint, I think it's very important that, the PMs are on the ground, that really are the voices of the organization, that as you get further up into leadership, you're kind of, I want to say, insulated from some of the effects of the process of whether it be an approval process or things like that to move through the organization. And so the project managers have to be very vocal in, hey, this process isn't working for us, and it's not working for our customer. And that's one thing that I would say from a project management standpoint, that maybe you get a little beat down in a process, so to speak, and you're not speaking up, where it's okay to ask questions of the organization that you work for of, why do we do it this way? Hey, have you thought about doing it this way that could at least streamline this a little bit? And that's something that we all have a duty to do as project managers, because at the end of the day, it affects how your ability to deliver your project. And so I would say from a PM standpoint, going around those complexities, hey, challenge that. There's nothing wrong with that. And an organization that takes an issue with that, they're going to likely be lost in the mix at the end of the day. But of course, you have to be able to, as a project manager, be able to don't just come with a problem and not provide a solution. I would definitely emphasize that more than anything. Like, don't just complain, give a solution to the issue where, hey, make it your boss or your next in the chain of command see the light that you're seeing, be able to explain it in detail and let them know and give them the understanding of what you're dealing with. I think that is the most important out of all things, and be able to speak up and bring solutions to the table.
Yeah, so look, you are the one on the ground, basically. You are running the show, and you know the problem as a project manager. And the big boss, big people, they are talking vision, strategies, and you are the one executing. So if there's a problem with the execution of the, it's the approval process, or some supply chain problem or something else, you should be, and if the system is not working, and how to, of course, you talk to your PMO or your other executives to see and suggest them. And you mentioned, it's don't talk about the problem, that this is not working, that's not working. Okay, why it's not working? Let's talk about that. And what can we do as a company? Because not only you, this company has to grow together. So you need to, if you know better ways to do things, which you can probably learn by going through some industry standards, or going through conferences, or attending some courses, PgMP, PfMP, you learn something, and those things, those learning, those people don't have that learning, because they are coming from different mindset and different education. You coming from project management. So alignment of those forces is very, very powerful. If we can bring them the suggestion, show them why what you're thinking is important and can change the way we are doing, they will like it. There may be some resistance, but if you show them the benefit out of that, they will appreciate that.
That's right. Yeah, expect resistance, because a lot of times folks are going to say, well, this is the way we've done it. This is the company process, and this is the way we have to do it. Okay, I respect that. But I'm seeing a lot of wasted movement within this process. Like, why can't we streamline this? And, instead of 3 actions to complete one thing. Why don't we just involve all 3 of them up front to where we can get the decision done and be able to move forward together, and save a couple days. Those couple days, as we all know, as project managers, are life and death sometimes within the project. So again, finding those ways, and again, I talk about some of the skills that I learned in my MBA journey. When you got 2 close competitors, and you're pretty much even on price and everything else, but when you start looking at your supply chain of okay, finding those finite resources within, where all of a sudden, okay, they're getting their supplies from X, you're getting it from Y. Hey, what if we were to buy that particular supplier, bring it in house and streamline it? Come with those ideas and be able to. I think even I think it was the great thing that Southwest Airlines did for many years here in the United States that other airlines did not, and they reaped great rewards, was they were hedging on the fuel, and they were saving huge money on fuel when the other airlines were not doing that particular activity, and they gained a huge market share at that particular time. Those are really the differences in thinking outside the box within your own supply chain, being able to find a way to get a competitive edge, and then the key is obviously Southwest, the cat was out of the bag and how they were able to gain that advantage. But, the real key to any organization is not only to find those edges, competitive edges, but to sustain them and finding new ways all the time. But, again, looking at your overall process and breaking it down in that work breakdown structure of how you can do something better and faster while maintaining quality, that's what's going to win at the end of the day.
Yeah, just give you a very simple example. It's not always we have to have a big change, big transformation, which you're talking today. It can be very, very minor adjustment to the process. Oh, this is not working. Let me give you an example. Like, I have a vacuum cleaner. It's a great vacuum cleaner. It's not, and I have been using, and I was feeling, it is not working for many, many years. And so, I'm about to throw and go and get one of the better one, what do you call it? Dicos or?
Oh, the Dysons, yeah.
Yeah, Dyson.
Yeah, exactly.
I was thinking of that. But I say, hang on, there is some buttons are there. If I move them around, maybe it can help. And I moved because I was using the carpet setting on the floor. It obviously not working. I just mind the change, and now I'm happy with the vacuum cleaner. I know it's a very simple example. It's a vacuum cleaner, obviously, but I'm happy with that. Now, the same thing, when you look around and some minor changes in the attitude or the way people talking, the way the project management is done, if you can just have some minor adjustment, you may find great results.
That's right.
Look for those things.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be this earth-shattering thing that makes a difference, folks. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Being able to analyze things of, okay, where did I buy my materials for this particular project? Yeah. Can I save 1%, by buying things in another supply chain? I mean, just little things like that add up. They do, and that usually is the difference. I mean, everybody is so competitive, especially in this global market, that little thing that you might think it's not even worthwhile bringing it up. Bring it up. Just do it, because it may end up, gosh, we never thought of that. That's a great idea. Just do it, and I think you'll find a lot of success.
And other thing we as a project manager company can do is look around for the consultants, somebody who is expert in that area. So the other problem is when we are in that problem or in that working in that organization, we don't see the problem because we are so much into that. We don't find any problem. But you invite somebody from outside, they can immediately see, hey, this is not working. You can do this minor tweaking, you have greater results. So, that's why they charge money as well. Some of the big consultants.
Yeah, I'll even tell you one of my tricks that I did many years ago was when we'd win a project, wherever it may be, whether it's in the U.S. or anywhere in the world, was where are my folks? Where's my team going to stay? And usually you're talking 6+ months. It can be long projects, and so I always am one to figure out where are my folks going to stay? Where are we going to stay? I want to make sure they're taken care of and a comfortable place to stay. and I'm going to negotiate a rate. And let's just say I ended up saving maybe $10 to $15 a night per person. Well, it's not a lot of money when you look at it per night, but I got over 10 people staying there, in times 6+ months. That little $10 adds up to be many thousands, and that's a little, I like to say a little treasure chest that I buried in the backyard for a rainy day in case there's some unexpected. Those are the little things that I would do that, again, it just gives you a little extra breathing room. And at the end of the day, hopefully you don't have to use it. It just adds to the profit and success of the project. Those are the little things that add up to be big things later.
Exactly. That little thing, that's what it is, Minor tweaking here and there, things can be different.
Yep.
Great, thank you. Regarding projects and their embeddedness in the organizations and inter-organizational network, which mechanism enables and constrains digitalization in the current scenario?
I think we've covered a little bit there as far as the constraints. Again, some companies just get so process oriented that they drown in it, quite frankly. And you'll have entities within that process that will hide behind the process as to excuse to not get something done, or, hey, we can't do it any faster because of this. And that is when you really want to challenge, of course, in a respectful way, like, hey, we have to deliver for our customer. This is not working. And we have to look at that. And so again, that's from a constraint. Now, from an enabling standpoint, again, an organization that is, I will say, agile, that recognizes that, hey, we have to adopt this continuous improvement always in all things across the board, and finding ways to be better. When you have a leadership like that is in, I want to say, empowering you to want to have you challenge the status quo, is where you're going to achieve some excellence. And again, I want to say there's a balance there. You can't necessarily be changing things all the time, because then it just becomes chaos and no one actually knows what the process is. From a leadership perspective, you have to be very clear in expectations with your folks to be able to implement that. But if you have that clear leadership and everyone is on the same page, and again, in adopting these technologies that can streamline things, that is where the real success is going to come from. And again, that can be in many different ways depending on the industry that you're in. But I think from an enabling standpoint, comes from a leadership, but again, also from a project manager standpoint, being vocal. I can't stress that enough. But again, in a positive way, not necessarily just complaining. Come with a solution, and to be able to challenge the status quo.
Exactly. Yeah, not just complain, try to understand, okay, this is the problem and these are the possible solutions, and then suggest. People don't like complainers, they like suggestion. Okay, you talk about this is a problem, ongoing problem, and this we are losing money, but if we make some adjustment, we have a other 1, 2, 3 option, one of the option, and we have better results. Why not?
Yep.
And let them take the ownership of the decision making. They feel proud of that. You done all the hard work, of course. They are the one making the decision. So give them everything and let them take the decision, and they will take the decision based on not only what we're saying, but also what the constraint they see from the organization, the money, or any other things. They will take decision based on that, or organization strategy, or the vision, or whatever we're talking about. Yeah. Why are cybersecurity and data integrity not just a point, but a critical pillar of digital transformation? How can we fortify our security measures to safeguard sensitive information and ensure regulatory compliances?
Oh, from the cybersecurity standpoint, I think we could probably have a separate podcast on that. And that is something that truly is, you want to talk about ever evolving and continuous improvement, that is just crazy. I think, most organizations at this particular time have things so locked down that sometimes it's hard for their own employees to access the systems needed to do the job. And that's always a challenge. So I won't necessarily touch on the cybersecurity as much, but data integrity, that's something that we've kind of already talked about. Your tools that you have is only as good as the information that you put into it. And data integrity, something that, from a business development side all the way through to the project execution, that integrity is really a huge part of your stakeholder engagement and stakeholder management, being able to set expectations. And so it is critical in the digital transformation world just as much. And, and again, even within that data integrity, being secure with your with that information, because it can be sensitive, not only from the compliance standpoint, especially when it comes to privacy of your customers that you work for, but even in your competitive edge. And so taking that very seriously. Of course, me working in the defense type world, we literally live in this space, and cybersecurity is always ever evolving. And really the only way to truly secure it as much as you can is having closed networks, which then really doesn't have the ability to touch any of the cloud type environments. There's pluses to that, but then there's also minuses. You're not going to be able to use, if you have closed networks, then you're not going to obviously be able to utilize the tools from your data is going to be limited. So again, there's pluses and minuses. Being able to find that happy medium that is constantly ever evolving is going to be the real challenge. And not only that, with cybersecurity, you see now where pipelines are being able to, cyber attacks to be able to take over pipelines, and it even creates a whole new warfare side of things, where being able to literally cripple an economic activity of the world. Scary to think about, quite frankly, but that's the world that we do live in, and being connected to that cloud type environment. So the cybersecurity and data integrity, literally it is the lifeline to everything, because without having that, you're not going to have any success as a project manager or even as a company at that particular time. So safeguarding that information is of utmost importance.
Yeah, especially when you talk about the cloud data centers, and your information can be stored somewhere which can be easily hacked if it is not properly secured. And all the hard work, or all the data you have been collecting, or information you have, that can be, that's happening every day. We see that from some big organization getting email, hey, unfortunately we were hacked and some of the data has been taken away, but don't worry, everything is under control.
Yeah. Whenever you see that, yeah, we got it under control. Yeah, well, the damage is done. It's always happening. Even hotels. You see all these different companies that it's amazing when you see the thousands, actually probably hundreds of thousands of different attacks on a daily basis. It's incredible.
Safeguarding, yep, it's very important now.
No doubt.
Yeah. So why would a digitally transformed organization grow slower than its competitors? Share your experience.
Yeah, I think we touched a little bit where they get stuck in you can be a digitally transformed organization, but you may have been missed something that was the latest change in technology that a competitor found that your company did not. I think that's obviously one of the simple answers. Another one is that hey, we don't have the money to invest in this new technology that just came out. And so, going on those competitive edges that your competition didn't find, or your competition did find, and you didn't adjust. That's one particular reason that could be an issue. But another one could be that, hey, we just don't want to adapt anymore. We felt that we've digitally transformed and that's it. And so we kind of feel comfortable, and that's where, when you get comfortable is when you should feel really uncomfortable. That means you're not doing enough. That's one of the leadership things where, when we're looking at the pricing of some particular opportunity, they like to see if you're squirming a little bit, and if you're not squirming, that means you can probably do more. And so that's the leadership perspective on things. Like, okay, if you don't feel uncomfortable, we need to sharpen our pencils some more, and that's just great leadership. So those are probably some of the macro level things. But even as a project manager, just within your own little world, is, again, maybe you got a little comfortable, or hey, someone opened up a new supply chain that can get things for cheaper, that maintains quality. You can look at things even with your own project in your own world, that you can find ways where then, if you're able to have success, you can kind of communicate that in a broader way to where, hey, we should adopt this across the board. Like, so as a way, think of these as you as a project manager, think of it as your own little petri dish, where, hey, if we are able to, we're going to take a little bit of an informed risk and see if we can bring this home to where, hey, if it works out well, this is something that we could adopt, across the enterprise. And if not, have your backup plans to where you're traditionally going to be able to deliver on time. So again, finding those ways, and you must have that mentality of we must find ways. Otherwise, we're going to lose to the competition. Perfect example. Again, I bring the U.S. Blockbuster Video was a huge chain of movie rentals.
Yep.
And was really owned the video rental world and had the opportunity to purchase Netflix back in the day.
Yeah.
Everybody in the world knows Netflix now. They had the opportunity to purchase Netflix back in the day, and they said, no, we're not interested. And now Blockbuster Video is out of business, and everybody in the world knows Netflix. I mean, that's how quickly that stuff can happen. That's just one example of many.
And actually, that's where you need to have foresight. Think about you as a blockbuster, you're making huge money, and what Netflix is proposing at the time may not be the leaders have not seen that way. And or Netflix was not able to convince them by showing the big picture, and either way. Yep. Yes, it's a mistake from Blockbuster side, and they've gone out of business. But the leaders has to see that's where we talk about leaders have to have vision. If you just stuck with, hey, we are the biggest and we are doing great and nobody can touch us, you are very much touchable, and anybody can beat you.
Yeah, I'll give you another one. Everybody remembers BlackBerry. I mean, BlackBerry was marketed towards just the business side of things, and it had huge success. We all loved BlackBerry. But then Apple recognized, hey, we want to incorporate the business side of things, but we also recognize that on the personal side of things, those same folks, could use that on the personal side. And so Apple came out with the iPhone that marketed towards both the personal and business, where BlackBerry kind of just was happy with their success, which they own the market, quite frankly, around the world. And now you see that, quite frankly, our lives are literally within an iPhone, and BlackBerry is, in the dustbin, so to speak. I mean, yeah. I mean, and so again, you get comfortable and make one little change, and literally look what happens. I mean, Apple is one device, and you have everything within your life, which is crazy, but at the same point is very convenient.
Yeah, I mean, people who have not watched this movie, they should watch the BlackBerry. I think that's a big eye opener. How they grow, and how this CEO who took over, and they did great in those days. The share price was going very high, and we were very happy that they were acquiring lots of customer base. And there you go, the Apple come in picture from nowhere. This guy was standing in the Apple announcement, iPhone 3 or something at the time. And they say, oh, no, don't worry.
Yeah, they laughed at it. Yep.
They ignored, sometimes that ignorance can be very costly. And suddenly people realize all the market share were gone to the Apple, and suddenly they're out of business.
Well, and I would say one of the great things, and I'm not necessarily giving, Apple, hey, I'm not like one of those, how do I want to say it, an Apple fanboy, but, you look at it from a perspective as they're constantly evolving. You think about it back in the day where you used to have an iPhone, and a lot of folks would have an iPad, and they would have an iPod.
Yeah.
Well, now I don't even know that you can even buy an iPod on its own. It's just been combined into your iPhone. So again, gosh, they iPods were tremendous successes, but then they constantly were improving to where, hey, we understand as a user, like, it's not nice to have all these different devices. Let's combine it and have the interconnectability of an iPad and an iPhone. So you really have to give them credit on that constant improvement to where, hey, we don't need to have the iPod. I'm going to actually, after this podcast, I'm going to go look. I don't think you can even buy an iPod anymore, like brand new. I don't even think they market them or even make them anymore. It's crazy. You think about that.
Yeah. Look, that's where as the organization leader, they have to keep an eye on what is happening. Don't just, assume that you're at the top at the moment. Now nobody can touch you. Before you realize the technology is there, wave of technologies are coming from everywhere. The AI-based technology and unbelievable. Before you realize somebody else is coming up with a new technology and things are.
Yeah, it's really amazing. It's when you think about it, kind of walk down memory lane. I guess maybe we're dating ourselves a little bit, Dharam. Some of the young folks probably don't even know about the famous BlackBerry Messenger. I mean, they called it Crackberry because we were all addicted to it. It was so convenient back in the day. So, but yeah, I mean, you think about that and how, I don't even know if you can buy one anymore. It's amazing.
No, it's gone. That's it. Yeah. Anyway, so like and that's where the lesson we should learn from history. That's why we look back what happened to those things. Nokia and Blockbuster and a few other names. It's not for laughing, but to learn from them what these leaders could have done at the time, and they did not act on time.
They didn't have the foresight.
They did not have foresight.
Yep.
Yeah. So that's where when companies hiring a CEO, they should look for the people who are really visionary, can look beyond what other people cannot see at the moment.
That's right.
Yeah. Okay, so now my next question is, how can project managers effectively apply hip pocket skills to navigate the complexity of digital transformation and ensure successful project outcomes?
Yeah, so we always talk about it, and I'll say it again, and a lot of folks that'll be watching this think sound like a broken record, but having the ability to effectively communicate, to engage your stakeholders, those truly are those soft skills, the being able to speak to folks and being able to shape the projects to be able to complete as needed. Those, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how many tools that you have at your disposal. If you're not able to communicate effectively with your customers and your stakeholders, internally and externally, you're never going to succeed. And so having those type of hip pocket skills to navigate things, whether it be the processes within your own company or with your customer, you have to be able to speak to the specifics. And I think, quite frankly, having some technical background in the industry that you're in, just being a project manager and getting certifications, but not having industry knowledge or kind of the technical expertise to a certain extent. You don't necessarily need to be an expert, but have enough knowledge to where you can effectively communicate and be believable, quite frankly. And not only that, having that technical experience, I would say, allows you to vet the information that you're getting from your team, because sometimes maybe they're not seeing the bigger picture as well from the project execution standpoint. So again, kind of, as we all know, as a project manager, you have to be a little bit of jack of all trades, so to speak. But it really, at the end of the day, comes down to humility, number one, being able to admit, hey, I don't know the answer to this, but I will find the answer and get back to you. Don't just say something and you're not sure on it. That is number one, I would say, having that humility. But number two, being able to speak, have that gift of gab, as they say, is a huge plus, and having those interpersonal skills. And again, being able to empower your team to challenge not only the status quo of your company, but hey, how can we be better? Hey, I want to be able to complete this task. We've been doing this task or this kind of work for many years now. We have to find a way to get better. Again, empower them to find different ways. Maybe they need a particular tool to be able to get it done, or hey, can we utilize our repository to streamline this, or can we utilize this same part across our enterprise of all projects to where, hey, we have the ability to train better all of our technicians for the familiarity use. We'll be able to know the ins and outs from a troubleshooting perspective. And by us using this particular, brand or whatever, will allow us to negotiate better prices with procurement and be able to expand those supply chains, all those things, like really just break down your entire, work breakdown structure and just analyze it and find ways to find efficiencies. And as we've said, just little things turn into big things when you add them all up. So just being able to look at them and being able to find those ways for efficiencies and cost savings are going to be the way that you find success overall in your projects, and ultimately leads to overall company success.
Exactly. All these skills, what the skills you learn from PMBOK and standard for program management, standard for portfolio management. I mean, not only PMI stuff, but there are many standards that are available now, which is the collective or intelligence of the smart people of the time. So learn from those things, some basic skills. While you're preparing for your PMP, PgMP, PfMP, you learn all those things and use them. And we are required for our new digital transformation work happening, and more skills, of course, technical skills as well as your people skill. All the skill will help you to get the results, successful projects.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah. Justin, thank you very much once again. I know this was a hectic day, last 3 days of travel, and just came in, and you should be enjoying the Florida beaches, Justin's beaches, and you are here spending time sharing or allowing me to extract knowledge from you into the knowledge pool.
All good. I'll be on that beach soon.
Hey, enjoy your day, and I'm sure you're going to enjoy it. And I will see you soon with a new topic.
Sounds great. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, take care.
Cheers.